Okay, people, good evening. Welcome to this special program on your trusted source for discussions that matters to our health, our homes, and our future. We are diving into a topic that affects every kitchen, every meal, and every breath we take. Stay with us as we explore what clean cooking really means, why it is important, and how you can make the switch. We will be speaking with Mubarak Muhammad Salisu, the Community Manager, Northern Nigeria for Sustyvibes, Nigeria. And of course, at some point, we will be taking your calls.
I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me. I cry.
Okay, Mubarak Muhammad, the Northern Community Manager of Sustyvibes, is he's from Kano State and he has over 6 years of working experience as an environmental and energy consultant, educator, and a researcher. Yeah, he's right here with us in the studio. Okay, so I will talk about clean cooking and the core benefits of clean cooking. He has also worked on projects spanning the environment, education, gender equality, peace, and restoration. Voila, he's also a poet and a full-time writer. Okay, what about the Sustyvibes? It was coined from sustainability and vibe. So the word Susty is another shortened word for sustainability, but Muhammad will tell us about that. It is a community of passionate young people who are creating an interesting vibe around the message of sustainability. He said what? They make sustainability cool and actionable. According to the World Health Organization, the smoke from the kitchen leads to about 95,300 deaths annually. That's bogus, making it the cause of deaths after malaria and HIV/AIDS. However, the costs of clean cooking are primarily borne by women due to gender stereotypes and cultural practices. The implication of this level of cooking energy poverty cuts across the wider economy, public health, especially women and children. Okay, let's not forget deforestation and climate change. So, the campaign.
Yeah.
The campaign, Muhammad. So, before we go delve deep, because I said we're going to drive into clean cooking.
Yes,
why does it matter to transition from traditional way or method of cooking? But I said we have the what? Do you remember? The Northern Community Manager of Sustyvibes, Mubarak Muhammad, here with us in the studio. You're welcome to Liberty Radio.
Thank you, Mrs. Aisha.
Okay, we're looking at clean cooking, the core benefits of clean cooking amongst women, youth. So, before we delve deep into the discussion, what is it about clean cooking? Does it mean that the method or the way and manner we women and youths go about cooking is not clean? Let's get to hear from you, Muhammad.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Aisha, for having me in the studio this evening. We're here to discuss about the NaijaCookWiseCampaign, which is a campaign that is geared towards sustainable cooking, that is clean cooking practices. When we talk about clean cooking, we're talking about technologies with the usage of fuels that emit low pollutants such as particulate matter, carbon monoxide, and other toxic gases. So there is a need for us to transition from the traditional cooking methods where we use biomass such as leaves, firewood that emits a lot of methane, carbon monoxide, and other toxic substances that causes respiratory diseases to a cleaner cooking. Now, this type of cleaner cooking, when we talk about cleaner cooking, we mean switching to cooking using electricity, solar, LPG, CNG. These are substances that emit low level of pollutants in the community. Because when we talk about traditional cooking practices, have always been at the forefront of causing a lot of diseases. I've said it causes there are health negative impacts on the health and the environment, the health and productivity of humans and other organisms in the community.
Okay, Muhammad. Why you said there's need?
Yes.
So that means it is important.
It is.
Why is it important for Nigerian households to transition to cleaner cooking?
Well, if you look at the Nigerian context of cooking, we look at the urban and the rural communities, we find out that a lot of people do not have access to these substances that they can use for cleaner cooking.
Okay.
Take for example, you look around you in your community and you find out that you only have one gas station perhaps in your area. It means that a lot of people are not yet familiar with what clean cooking is, and so therefore they usually go for substances that end up making them to spend much in the hospitals, thereby affecting their health, causing a lot of financial constraints, time wastage, and the health risks aspect of it all. So there is a need for us to transition from this traditional method, which has been prevalent for a very long time and has caused a lot of health and environmental hazards, to clean cooking. Now, despite several efforts by the Nigerian government to reduce these concerns through a lot of policy interventions, the use of traditional fuels has continued to increase, thereby causing a lot of serious damages to human health, productivity, and environment, as I've mentioned earlier. So that is why we are coming up with this campaign to sensitize people and raise awareness on the importance of switching to clean cooking using cleaner substances that emit lower level of pollutants in the community or in the environment.
You and I know that after for subsidy removal, there were uproar here and there. It affects all in Nigeria, right?
Yes, it has.
So with the rising cost of fuels, why should people not go back to traditional cooking methods?
Well, as I've mentioned earlier, and I just mentioned that there is a need for us to switch from the traditional method to the clean cooking. Now, there are three factors that I would like to discuss about concerning the traditional fuels that we use. That is the biomass. There is the health aspect of it, where if recent studies by the United Nations in 2021 has indicated that there are almost 70,000 annual deaths that occur due to pollutants that are gotten from using traditional fuels while cooking, and almost 90% of the death come from children that are below 5 years old. So you see, that's a very high index. So what we are trying to do now is to see that we switch from that, despite the cries, the outcries from people that it is costly and all that. You know how it is. You've just mentioned removal of subsidy and all that, but we are looking at the health aspect of it. Traditional fuels for a very long time have been the cause of a lot of deaths, although people are not aware of that much, and this is why we are sensitizing them to understand the health benefit of using clean fuels in the process of cooking. And then secondly, there is the issue of environment. Now, you are aware, or almost everyone is aware, that there have been a lot of discussions concerning climate change. Now, what is climate change? In the sense, we are the architect of climate change, because we are disrupting Mother Nature by releasing toxic substances into the environment. So the environmental implication of it is how we keep on using things that we can switch from. This is the main theme of the CookWise campaign, the transition from traditional fuels to clean energy. So if you look at the environmental aspects, there's been a lot of outcries by concerned organizations internationally and nationally concerning the issue of climate change. And Sustyvibes is always at the forefront of promoting environmental sustainability. So sustainability is not just about planting trees. Sustainability is not just about taking care of the water and life beneath water or life on land. Sustainability also has to do with what we use in cooking. Let me give So you see, that's the environmental aspect of it. And then there's also the economic aspect of it, where you spend a lot of money and a lot of time when you're cooking with firewood. I would like to ask you, Mrs. Aisha, if I give you salamis now to fry for us, and you have gas in the kitchen and then you have firewood, I believe that you go for the gas, because nobody wants to go and be cooking and then the cataract in your eyes, the smoke and all that. It just makes you unhappy while you're supposed to be happy.
Yes, I'd rather go for gas. Okay. But then we have to also look at, you've outlined some of the benefits, the health benefits, the economic benefits, and the environmental benefits.
Yes, I have.
And you've also highlighted some of the challenges and adoption.
Yeah.
But since because of the economic hardship, you need to tell us more about why it is beneficial, not just on these three benefits, other aspect that women should buy into, transition into clean cooking.
I just cited an example with you. I gave you an option. Will you rather use the firewood?
And that's because I can afford gas.
That's because you can afford gas. But you see, it's not just about the gas. You see, we are not just focusing on LPG and CNG. We're also focusing on using electricity and solar energy to cook. Solar energy doesn't cost you anything. As long as you have the materials needed, all you have to do is tap from the natural source, which is the sun, of course, and then you get your power to cook. And then electricity, well, I'd rather not jump into the issue of electricity due to, this is Nigeria, we know what we've been facing when it comes to electricity. But at the same time, there's a high chance for women to also use electricity in cooking. And I believe that there are some certain times that we get availability of power, and then we can transition from using all this charcoal firewood into that.
Okay, tell us more about the NaijaCookWise project and its role in promoting clean cooking in Nigeria.
So when we talk about the NaijaCookWise campaign, it's actually a campaign that is meant to sensitize and create awareness for not just women, but the society at large. Because when you say you want to enlighten the woman on how to use clean foils, well, someone has to back her up. So this program is not just meant for women and youth, it is also meant for men as well. You're a man, you have a household, you need to listen to this. It is very important that you transition from the usage of traditional foils into clean energy. So this is the essence of the CookWise campaign. The CookWise campaign is meant to address this. I believe this is the first time someone is coming up with something like this. Okay, let's just sensitize the society, the communities we have around us, and how to use cleaner fuels in cooking. So this is why Sustyvibes came up with this, because we've been at the forefront of creating projects like this. We had a previous project last year on Susty schools that was targeted also on food sustainability using clean energy. But on a wider scope, the CookWise campaign is now trying to address particularly the issue of transitioning from the usage of traditional foils to clean cooking.
Okay, so when we talk about this project, women and youths, they are at the forefront as well, because they are the targets, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how can women be empowered to drive the transition to cleaner cooking? I mean, there are entrepreneurship opportunities for youth in the clean cooking sector, because we can't talk about this without saying a little about what our youth out there can make out of this.
So there have been policies by the government in Nigeria. There is the Nigerian Clean Cooking Policy that has been initiated by the federal government, which is targeted at reducing the costs of cooking materials, and also empowering people in Nigeria on how to transition from using traditional fuels, that is the biomass, into clean cooking. Now, there has been a project like that, and it is in its initial stage. And I think there are some pilot states in Nigeria like Lagos, Ogun, Bauchi, Gombe, the FCT, Niger, Katsina, Sokoto, Ebonyi, and Enugu, El Delta, and Bayelsa states that are going to be part of the pilot program that is to reduce or to increase the efficiency of cleaner cooking.
And subsequently it will spread.
Yeah, it
across.
will spread.
Okay.
Definitely it will spread.
Okay.
It is going to begin in Lagos, and well, the target is by 2030. The cost efficiency will be reduced, and there will also be biomass stoves that will be well distributed to the beneficiaries.
Okay, Muhammad, thank you. At this point, I would like to also carry our House of Speakers along.
Okay.
So, a gurguje, za ka mana bayani ko bayani a gurguje amma cikin minti 5 insha Allah, so that our House of Speakers will also be carried along on this, especially now that ake ta maganar shagulgulan bikin sallah. There's going to be a lot of cooking go. So when we say idan muka yi magana akan clean cooking, mun san ana amfani da ice, ana amfani da rusho. Do yanzu an dade ba gaskiya mutane da yawa saboda tsadar kalanzir ya an koma ice da kuma mostly ma abin nan mai sunan shi coal gawayi kenan. To kuma gashi kun zo da wani sabon tsari, even though akwai mutane da dama yanzu su koma amfani da su gas da sauransu. To amma menene makasudin wannan tafiya ta
da farko dai ita kanta kungiya ta Sustyvibes kungiya ce wacce take damuwarta shine ya za ta tsaftace muhalli da lafiyar al'umma da kuma dabbobi da suke cikin duka wayannan muhallan. So shi wannan tsarin da aka zo da shi na CookWise campaign, wanda a Hausa zamu iya cewa tsarin yin girki a tsaftace na makamashin girki ko mun san cewa mukan yi amfani da makamashin girki kamar irin su gawayi, irin su itatuwa da ganyayyaki ko kuma wasu abubuwa makamantan haka. So shi wannan tsarin da aka zo da shi na CookWise campaign wani tsari ne wanda yake kokarin wayar da kan al'umma su koma amfani da kayan girke-girke ko makamashin girki wanda zai tsaftace musu abin da za su ci tare da kuma samar musu da lafiya ingantacciya. Majalisar Ɗinkin Duniya ko kuma in ce ƙungiyar lafiya ta duniya wato WHO kenan ta fitar da wani jadawali ko kuma in ce wani kiyasi shekarun baya a shekarar 2021 cewa mafi akasarin mutuwar da ake samu a duniya kusan 96,000 ana samun su ne daga matsalolin da suke afkuwa na hayakin girki da kuma sauran bangorai da mutane suke shaka zuwa hukunsu. So wannan kuma ya nuna cewa cikin wannan kaso na mutanen da suke mutuwa a kowace shekara kashi 90 kananan yara ne waɗanda suke kasa da shekara 5. To idan kika duba dalilin da yasa muka zo muke yin wannan dalili ne domin wayarwa da mutane kai cewa akwai damarmaki da dama da za su iya amfani da su wajen yin girke kamar abin da ya hada da wutar lantarki, abin da ya hada da solar energy wato amfani da hasken rana wajen yin girki, ko kuma narkakkiyar iskar gas wato LNG kenan, LPG akwai kuma CNG wani nau'i ne shi ma na iskar gas da ake amfani da shi. Idan muka duba ma mafi akasari yanzu kamfaninnika masu karan kansu a gurare da dama, misali kamar Kano akwai binciken da na yi a shekarar da ta gabata watan Oktoba wanda ya nuna cewa kamfaninnikan nan su kansu da suke hada abubuwan abinci suna so su sauya daga LPG zuwa CNG, saboda CNG za mu iya cewa kamar shine sarki yanzu a cikin gari akan abin da ya shafi girki. Sai dai kuma akwai matsaloli na tsada na rayuwa wanda su ma muna kallon su, shi yasa muke magana cewa za a iya amfani da hasken rana ko kuma wutar lantarki wajen yin girkin. Makasudin da yasa kenan mu a Sustyvibes a tafiyar mu muka zo da wannan tsari na CookWise campaign, wato ma'ana amfani da makamashi mai tsafta wajen yin girki domin tsaftace lafiya da muhalli da kuma duk wani abin da ya shafi makamantan haka.
Na'am, to Muhammad Mubarak na ta kiranka da sonin ɗinka. Afuwan a daidai wannan lokaci kamar yadda na ce muna so mu wato kawo native speakers ɗin wato Hausa speakers su ma su san gwainar da ake tuyawa a wannan tafiyar. Idan na fahimce ka da kyau dai wannan sabuwar tafiyar ita tana magana akan tsarin yin girki a tsaftace, sai kuma wato maganar makamashin girki wanda iyayenmu da kakanninmu an fi sabawa da wato ice da amfani coal din nan ma ai daga baya ne ma aka fara amfani da shi, wanda shi ma idan ka duba bai cika fitar da irin mugun hayaki kamar ice da amfani da rusho wanda ake amfani da kalanzir ba. Yanzu ma rusho ai da kai amfani da kalanzir ai gwamma ka sai gas. To kuma a duk da haka saboda yanayin tsadar rayuwa al'umma da dama za su iya tunanin to idan mutum bai da kuɗi kana neman abinci kuma za ka zo ka rika tunanin amfani da gas. Ai gas na da tsada, ga matsalan hawan farashin man fetur da aka fuskanta ko ake ciki har yanzu, kaga duk ire-iren wa'annan abubuwa. To abinda zai dan iya sauko da tunanin mutane wajen cewa lalle tafiyar nan ya kamata mu zo a yi da mu shine akwai yiwuwar samun aikin yi ga matasa da mata a wannan sabuwar tafiyar.
Akwai.
Na'am.
Akwai. Kin gani babban kalubalen da muke fuskanta musamman a nahiyar Afirka shine duk lokacin da aka zo da magana ta sauyin yanayi, za ki ga mutane da yawa ba su da masaniya akan menene shi kansa sauyin yanayi. Idan kika lura, barin baki misali, a shekarar da ta gabata tsakanin watan Disamba da Nuwamba an yi fama da zafi wasu ranakun, kawai sai ka tashi sai ka ji zafi a ranakun da ya kamata a ce sanyi ake, wanda yana daga cikin illolin sauyin yanayi.
Yes. Climate change.
So damar da mutane za su samu ta sana'o'i shine sai an farga, sai an waye musu da kai. Shi yasa a kungiyar mu ta Sustyvibes muna matukar kokari wurin ganin cewa mun janyo matasa da mata domin su fuskanci yaya tsarin shi zamantakewa da muhalli yake. Ya san cewa in baka fahimci ya muhallin ka yake ba, kai karan kanka ba za ka san yadda za ka tsaftace muhallin ba. So makasudin kenan. Sannan kuma tsarin da za a iya yi wajen samar da wannan ayyukan sai gwamnati ta sa hannu. Gwamnati kuma ba za ta sa hannu ba sai a lokacin da mutane ba suka fahimci cewa ga illolin wayannan abubuwan, ga kuma tagomashin da ke cikin amfani da makamashi wanda zai iya tsaftace musu yake. Misali zan je Kwacha, za ka je ka tara ana kona ganda ko in ce fatar dabbobi da taya. Ni alal hakika bana ci, gaskiya bana ci, saboda akwai tsarin da turawa suke kira ko masana kimiyya suke kira bioaccumulation. Wani tsari ne na halitta da ke faruwa a jikin mutum lokacin da yake cin abu mai guba, yake taruwa a jikinsa kaɗan bayan wasu shekaru, lokacin da garkuwar jikinka ya yi rauni, kuma lokacin sai ka zo ka fara fama da abubuwan da ka ci kana shekara 20.
Mubarak, okay, having discussed, delve into the discussion in Hausa language, we're looking at the topic that affects every kitchen, every meal, and every breath we take, okay? Yeah, we're talking about clean cooking and what it really means. All right, and we're right here with the Northern Community Manager, Sustyvibes, Mubarak Muhammad. At this point, Mubarak, I think we'll give callers, we'll open our full lines to our callers so that they will call and ask you questions concerning clean cooking, okay, and the core benefits of clean cooking.
I have a dream.
Okay, the numbers to dial on the program is 0708 956 9879. 0708 956 9879 or 0806 322 6467. 0806 322 6467. Yes, call us now as all right, we have a caller already. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Yes, good evening.
Oh, good evening, sorry. My contribution to Mubarak is this. Now that was this bow, whatever. And I remember quite all right that a friend of mine talked about the gas kind of. Why is it that guys are not educating people? So use the opportunity of utilizing these sockaway gas.
Okay.
So that people that have big houses or big
Okay. Mubarak, you had it.
Yeah, I had him.
Your contribution there.
Biogas.
Yeah.
Yeah, biogas. This is used in India. Places like India, they use it. They use the soakaway, that is using the nitrogen gas from there to create energy tanks for cooking.
So,
but we are looking at the cost efficiency. That is what we have to look at. You see, we need to start using what we have in hand before we move to a wider technology. That one requires a lot of technology, if I'm not mistaken. And well, we are ready for it, but the cost efficiency matters, and then the technical know-how of creating stuff like that requires a lot of technical know-how, and the handling, of course. You cannot just go and create something like that and then the household do not know how to use it. So first, you need to sensitize people, raise awareness, let them understand what clean cooking is all about first. What are the alternatives they can use? And then from there we can start talking about, okay, I can just do this in my backyard, and then it will be voila, I can cook.
Gradually.
Yes, gradually.
Get there. 0708-956-9879 or 0806-322-6467. You can also send us a text message, okay? We have just 5 minutes to round up on the program. So call us now, and you can make your suggestions, you can ask questions, as Mubarak Muhammad is right here with us in the studio, and we're looking at clean cooking, why it is important and how we can make the switch. Okay, while we await calls from our listeners, Mubarak. Okay, we have another call.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Your name?
My name is Mariam Abubakar from Bari.
Okay, so what's your question, or you have a suggestion to make?
Well, I want to ask some questions.
Go ahead.
So, can I speak in Hausa?
Yes, please. That was why we, switched to Hausa language earlier.
Yawa, ya ce kai girki da sola ba? So kamfanin za su ba mu irin example. Za su raba mana example ne mu gwaggwada?
Okay, to.
Bari mata jawabi. Malama
Ki saurari Mubarak zai miki bayani.
So, Malama Maryam, Sustyvibes ba company bane wanda suke sayar da kayan girke-girke. Sustyvibes abinda ake kira NGO ne, wato kungiya mai zaman kanta wacce take da alhakin wayarwa da mutane kai akan abin da ya shafi sauyin yanayi, rayuka da suke kan tudu da wanda suke karkashin ruwa, da duk kuma abin da ya shafi muhalli. So wannan tsarin da muka zo da shi na NaijaCookWiseCampaign tsari ne wanda zai wayarwa da mutane kai cewa makamashin da suke amfani da su wajen yin girke-girke a dakunan girki suna da illoli matuƙa, abubuwan da ya shafi cututtukan da suka shafi huhu da kuma abin nan tsokokin da suke da alhaki wajen samar da numfashi da sauransu. So ba wai za mu samar da abubuwan bane, amma muna da damar ba da shawarwari masu ƙarfi wajen yadda mutane za su iya amfani da abubuwan da za su tsaftace musu lafiyarsu da muhallinsu. So maganar da kika yi na cewa za a raba kayan girki ba, akwai dai tsarin da gwamnati ta fitar wanda ake kira Nigerian Clean Cooking Policy, wanda ake so a shekara ta 2030 a samu sauye-sauye wajen yi wa mutane samar da mutane abu makamashin da
Rukayya, da fatan kin gamsu da bayanan da Muhammad Mubarak ya yi. Hello, good evening. Okay, do well to call us back as we have 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Mubarak was just explaining to Rukayya in Hausa language that
Mariam, right?
Mariam,
yeah.
That CleanWise cooking, right? The project is not, because what was her question?
She was asking whether we are distributing. Then I told her that we are. The campaign is focused on sensitization and how to use cleaner fuels in cooking. That is a transition from the traditional fuels that we use into cleaner fuels.
Okay, let's pick this one last call. Okay. Hello? Hello? You're connected. Hello, good evening. Hello? Okay, let's see if we can squeeze in one more call.
Okay, that would be nice.
So, still on clean cooking, okay? Well, you've explained, you've highlighted so many reasons why for the switch, or why we should switch to a clean method of cooking from our traditional method of cooking. Okay, as we await our last caller, I hope that this project. So, are you working in collaboration with the government?
Well, we're trying to do that.
Okay, last call. Hello. Hello. Hello, you're connected.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Hello, good evening. Okay, we lost that call.
Yeah, so unfortunate.
Hopefully, the caller will call back. Okay, so you were saying you're working towards collaborating with the government.
Yes,
because you talked about a policy, government policy 0708 956 9879. Yeah, Mubarak.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a project, and if we're looking at the entrepreneurship benefits, like you rightfully pointed out, the government must come in.
Yes, there are 80 million clean cookstops projects, which is aimed to launch by distributing 80 million improved cookstops by 2030 to households nationwide. That is, I mentioned the pilot states, and then this is aimed to reduce or to replace the traditional firewood stoves that we use that usually give up a lot of emissions in the environment.
Yes.
And well, it is also focuses on the rural and low-income communities that face these barriers to clean cooking.
Okay.
You cannot go to a village and you find a gas station there. It's kind of difficult for the people residing in rural communities to have access to cleaner fuels. And so therefore the government is trying to see how it can bridge the gap between the availability of these clean fuels and communities.
Okay, we have a caller.
Okay.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Alice Mohammed. The question I want to ask is that how government and policymakers address climate change? Thank you.
How
government and policymakers address climate change?
Okay, how government and policymakers decision affects climate change? That's his question. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir, for calling. Yeah.
I believe the person asking the question is an environmental enthusiast.
Okay.
Yes, he's asking government policies. He's asking about stuff like COP. There was COP29 this year. Okay, last year I think. Yes. There have been a lot of policies coming up for government to guide the issues of climate change. But up to now, we can say that for Kaduna State, I can say there has been a lot of development. I think this is the first time the government is having a special advisor on climate change. Someone I know, Malam Yusuf Amoki, and the government has been trying much to see that the issue of climate change has been brought closer to the masses, because whenever we sit down we just talk about climate change between the experts, but taking climate change down involves a lot of projects, and Aliu, this is one of the answers. Last year Sustyvibes carried out a project that I mentioned, Susty Schools. It is an initiative to sensitize children of secondary schools on how to take care of the environment, particularly on climate action, zero waste, environmental sustainability, conservation, and what have you. So one of the ways that the government can do that is creating a project like this that will expand or span across all entities in the nationwide, not just within the cycle of the experts.
Okay. Yeah. Hello. Wa alaikum assalam.
Briefly, Sajid here, and I'm really calling from Destiny.
Okay.
The United States.
Okay.
Really, I heard your song. I wish I'm preaching to the
Yes, this is a radio station, Liberty Radio.
Okay, yesterday really I heard the Sanjay the question that you were asking. So I wish the son to answer.
Okay, this is a different program. But thank you for calling. All right, Mubarak.
No.
I think we've explored several, ways to transition or switch to clean or cleaner cooking. Ranging from understanding clean cooking, and its benefits. You talked about the environmental benefits, the health benefits,
And the
economic benefits, and the encouraging behavioral change, right?
Yes.
And of course, the role that women and youth will play in this. Okay, so I would say at this point we just have to draw the curtains on this special program, and we're wishing you all the best. In seconds, do you have anything to add?
Well, just inviting all environmental enthusiasts to join the fight, or to join the campaign on climate change, life beneath water, life on land with Sustyvibes. I mean, this is what we do. We do it with passion and vibes, and we are always inviting people to join the campaign. So, yes.
All right. Thank you, Mubarak, for coming on the program.
Thank you.